We have to get rid of that mindset and understand we have to be saving more. We have to cut our expenses because with that margin, that difference between how much you're making and how much you're spending, that difference is where wealth is built. So the more you're able to cut down expenses and increase your income gives you a quicker and more efficient fuel to put into your vehicle to get to your destination. And if you leave with nothing here today, you want to have a good understanding of how much are your expenses? How much is your income? And how can I make those two numbers as far from one another as possible?
Welcome back to Generational Dr. Wealth, a personal finance show for doctors. This podcast is for educational entertainment purposes only and does not constitute financial, legal, or tax advice. Always consult your own professionals.
Hello. Welcome back to the Generational Dr. Wealth show, a personal finance show for doctors. My name is Dr. Jermaine Fetty.
And my name is Donnie Fetty.
And this is a Q&A episode. This is going to be so exciting. But before we get into it, what's going on?
It's been a busy week. So just getting back from the Hinman, worked 3 days clinically, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday prior. Just got back from the Hinman, so traveled to Atlanta to celebrate your birthday, to partake in the Hinman conference, and to just see the beauty of the city. And then I've just gotten back today and came straight to it to give you all some information. So it's been a very productive week, to say the least.
Absolutely. So birthday just passed. That'll give you all a timestamp. March 12th, birthday. And then from there, we jetted right out to the Hinman. Actually, we were already at the Hinman by the time the birthday hit.
Yeah.
And we gave a presentation to the Hinman on the art of average, really to be able to increase financial literacy when it comes to doctors. So I want to thank the entire Hinman organization for bringing us out there, for us to be able to speak to over 100 different dentists. I want to shout out to Kingsley and Shay for coming out as well. That's my CPA, be able to give good information to all those out there. Just the entire crew. It was a good production. I want to thank Dr. Mark Hyman, who sponsored us to come out there. He's really been a personal mentor of mine. And then a good friend, Dr. Daniel Nicholson, who also spoke at the Hinman. So fantastic. I'm waiting to see what the final numbers look like this year. I know last year, over 13,000 people came to the Hinman.
It was a lot of people.
The largest dental convention in North America. And before COVID, it used to be 24,000 people coming to this thing.
Astronomical.
So we're so excited to see how it turns out. But again, it was a really, really good time.
Yeah, it was a great time. I can't wait to go next year.
Absolutely. So what do we have today?
All right. So today we're going to be doing some deep dive, just like we did maybe 2 episodes ago. Some deep diving with question and answers. So buckle up your seat and get ready.
All right. So what step are we on?
We're on step number 2. And you all know what that step is. That one is starting your freedom fund. So you are going to be saving at least 1 month of your income. Not 1 month of your expenses, but 1 month of your income.
Okay. All right. So what's the main difference between 1 month of income versus 1 month of expenses?
So with income, that's more fixed. You generally know how much you're going to make. And even if someone asks you, how much do you make in a month? You know that answer. With expenses, that's a bit more variable. So expenses have their ebbs and their flows, their highs and their lows. So with this step, we at least know how much we're bringing in each and every month. So that's a set number. You can set up an auto draft. It automatically goes into whichever account you need it to. With expenses, 1 month could be more expensive than the next. So you just never know how to properly prepare and plan for that.
Absolutely. Everybody knows how much they make. Very few people know how much they spend. So yeah. This is going to be a fun episode. Let's get into it.
All right. So we have Dr. Samuels here, and he has saved his 1 month of his income. He's contemplating whether he should invest it in stocks or crypto. What are your thoughts?
So, and I'm glad we actually start with this question because this is one of the biggest issues that face dentists. Sometimes we try to be overachievers when it comes to our finances. Mm-hmm. And especially when people first graduate, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to make up for a lot of lost time. Mm-hmm. Because we've been in dental school, medical school, pharmacy school for so many years, we're trying to make up for a lot of lost time. But I don't want us to think about it as lost time, but invested time. So when we first come out and we hit step number 2 and we're saving 1 month of income, this needs to be in a liquid place. Mm-hmm. This needs to be in a high yield savings account, a personal checking. You can even have it cash. Wherever it is, it needs to be easily accessible just in case something happens. See, this is not the time to be putting the funds into an investment account or putting into a crypto account. Now, one thing I will say is You could actually put it into an investment account. You can put it into a brokerage account if you keep it cash. Because sometimes in money market accounts or that brokerages hold, when you keep cash in there, they tend to have higher interest rates than just a high yield savings account. So if he's referring to just putting the money into the brokerage just to let it sit there and collect interest and not going to invest it, then that actually works out fine. Now, if he's going to be tempted to invest those funds into the actual brokerage accounts, into stocks, avoid that altogether. So again, just to recap, brokerage accounts have what we call money market accounts. That's basically like the savings account. So when you put money into your brokerage account, it sits in that money market account until it's ready to be deployed. Those accounts tend to have very high interest rates compared to any other accounts. Those and high yield savings accounts tend to be very similar, or sometimes they tend to be higher than high yield savings account.
Okay.
So that's a safe place to put it if that's what he's referring to. Now, if he's going to be tempted, I say avoid brokerage altogether. Keep it into a high yield savings account or a checkings account. And worst out of the three, I would say keep it cash. Either way, you need it easily accessible. This is not the time to be hoping that the market goes up and down. Again, we'll get to investing. But right now, in step number 2, we are still in building our financial foundation.
Okay.
In this step, we're not even thinking about investing. This is where we get ourselves safe. As we talked about in step number 1, we're taking care of all of our insurances. We're taking care of our income protection. We're protecting our license, and we're making sure we have our life insurance. See, now we're starting to protect our income as far as our lifestyle side of things. So in step number 2, once we actually have 1 month of income saved up, this income is not meant for investing purposes. This income is meant for protection purposes.
So you mentioned if he is going to be tempted to invest it directly into a high yield savings instead of a brokerage account, are both of those not accessible?
So a high yield savings account is not necessarily investing. You're storing it in there. So a high yield savings account can't be invested in anything. It just sits into basically just like your savings account. Now, a money market account that is trapped within a brokerage account, that can be invested. So for instance, if I gave you $1,000 and it went to like your Robinhood, your Charles Schwab, your Vanguard, any of those accounts, it sits in a money market account. And it sits in there until you're ready to actually choose the stock you want to purchase. So if he's transferring the funds into the money market account within a brokerage account, that's okay because it's going to collect high interest. But on the other hand, if he's going to be tempted to actually invest that money, then I say avoid it altogether. Does that make sense?
Yes. So you're saying if he's, I thought you meant attempting to like take it out and use it for something.
No.
Okay.
If he wants to invest those funds.
Okay. So it's good to just have it in the account because of the interest rate.
Exactly.
However, if he is someone that just loves investing, that's his world, and stocks have it, like say for instance, if it's a bull market and he's like, okay, I have to do something with this money.
This isn't the time for that.
Okay, gotcha.
But that time will come. And also to touch on crypto, again, it has a very similar type setup where you can put it in to collect higher interest. It's the same exact information I just gave. If you're tempted to buy crypto with it, do not put it in. If you're putting it in just to get the higher interest rate, then go for it. All right. But just be careful and just avoid all kinds of risk altogether. Just keep it in a high yield savings. And again, worst case scenario, keep it cash.
Gotcha. Okay. That was great. Great advice. All right. So next up, we have Dr. Lee. Dr. Lee is a single mother with 2 kids. She is wondering, should their needs increase the size of the fund?
See, that's a very interesting question because number one, your personal needs have nothing to do with the size of your starter fund. Your starter fund is predicated more on your income than it is your expenses. And that's why we actually made that differentiation on the front end, because for a lot of us, our expenses change month to month. If not, then we will be changing the size of our starter fund all the time. So like most advisors would tell you, save 3 to 6 months of expenses. We say on DoctorWealth to save 3 to 6 months of income because expenses are very variable. Different things might come up. If it's the summertime versus the wintertime, are the kids going back to school versus are they going on vacation? So much changes. So instead, we like to focus on variables that have the least chance of changing. So we say 1 month of income because if you're actually spending about half of your income on expenses, then technically by you saving 1 month's worth of income, you save 2 months worth of expenses. So that's how I like to think about it. You want to get yourself up to 1 full month of income, you'll put yourself in a very solid place. Now, some people might ask, hey, should I go gross income or should I go net income? Before tax, after tax? I tell you, whichever one you're going to go with, just be consistent with it. That's it. So if you're going to focus on your check after the taxes, just be consistent with it. Either way, it's okay.
So it may be better to do net because that's after taxes. And that's the money that you, unless it's a 1099, that's the money that you actually like see, feel, touch, and it is in hand. So like Dr. Freddy said, either one, as long as you're consistent. But for me, I would think naturally it would be best to go with the net.
For purposes mathematically, net tends to be the more accurate number to go with because that's more predictable. You know what is coming at the end after all the taxes have been held. But if you want to be on the safer side, you should actually go gross. So technically, if you save 1 month of gross income, you're technically saving even more. So I tell people, if you want to be an overachiever, if you want to get straight A's at this step here, go ahead and save 1 month of gross income.
Okay, I get it.
That makes sense?
Yeah, I'm on board. All right. Go with the gross. So we have our next doctor that is written in, and this is Dr. Rivera. And she has asked, she has $5,000 saved, but also $3,000 in credit card debt. Which one comes first?
See, that's one of the hardest things here because I don't really get a chance to ask follow-up questions. So I'm going to assume by her telling us it's $5,000, that's $5,000 of income. Like her income for 1 month is $5,000. Maybe she's a resident or maybe she just graduated, anything like that. Now, if we assume that $5,000 is 1 month of her income and she has saved that up, then check mark. She has done that stage completely perfect. Now, the second half of the question, which says, well, she has saved $5,000, but she has $3,000 of credit card debt. She's trying to figure out which one to tackle first. Let's get back to the steps. Step number 2 tells us to save 1 month of income. And it's not until step number 3 that we actually even start thinking about debt. So by her taking into consideration the $3,000 worth of debt she has, that shouldn't even be thought about right now. So this episode and this step are strictly focused on protecting yourself, getting all the proper tools in place. We will get to the point of taking care of credit card debt. But right now, this $5,000 is for safety purposes only. The next step will handle all the debt. We'll take care of all high interest debt, anything over 8%. But for this step in particular, you are putting yourself into a solid foundation. Now, let's say, for instance, if she did want to go ahead, you know what? I'm tired of the credit card debt. I'm going to take my $5,000. I'm going to put it towards that credit card debt.
Right.
Okay. She pays off her credit card debt. Let's say something happens. Computer dies. Tires on the car need to be changed all at the same time. And let's say everything costs $5,000. She's going to go back into the same credit card debt that she would have avoided in the first place. Yeah. So that's why this step is so important, because by keeping this money aside, it helps you avoid those future credit card debts. Do things in the proper step. And for a lot of dentists and a lot of medical doctors, a lot of pharmacists, a lot of doctors all over the type, one thing I notice is that we tend to want to do the right thing, but we do them in the wrong order. By following these 9 steps, you'll ensure that you do things in the right order.
Okay. So essentially, you're telling them to make sure that they pay their credit card debt or student loan debt or any kind of debt they have. Just pay that minimum balance until they get to that phase in the blueprint. Then pay it aggressively.
Yeah. So in step number 1 and step number 2, you still want to be taking care of all your responsibilities, right? So you want to think about all these different steps. Step 1, step 2, step 3. You still want to make sure you're handling all your financial obligations, all your loans. You want to be paying your minimums to keep yourself in good standing. Every extra dollar, you're not going to be trying to pay it down aggressively.
Right.
You want to take the extra dollars to, number 1, make sure all of your insurances are covered is step number 1. And then step number 2, you want to make sure you take the extra dollars and get that 1 month of income saved up aggressively. That's how I would like to think about it.
That's good. That's really good. Because naturally, like you said in the example, if she were to have an emergency pop up, then she's going to use that same credit card. Hopefully, she still has it open, because naturally, if someone thinks, I'm going to pay off all of my credit cards, then close them off because I don't want any credit cards. I don't have the discipline for the credit cards. Then she doesn't have that safety fund in the process of building up her actual safety fund to use in those cases of emergency.
Exactly. So we just want to make sure we're doing things in the proper order. And we're going to get to all the different steps.
Yeah.
And like we talked about at the Hinman, I don't want us skipping over the beginning steps trying to get to the final step.
That's
if we
good.
do things in the proper order, we'll get the proper outcome that we need.
Yeah.
Let's not bake a cake and start thinking about cutting the cake before we even put it in the oven. Let's take the proper steps.
Yeah, I think it's hard for some people sometimes, though, if you've had this debt staring at you for the past 5, 10, 15 years. And it's just like, one day I'm going to pay this off. One day I'm going to pay this off. And you find, regardless if you've been working for a job for 3 months or working for a job for 3 years, it's like you finally are put in that position where you can pay it off. But now you're telling me, whoa, slow down. We're going to get there. Just not yet.
When it comes to finances, you can call me the speed police. It's my job to tell you, pump your brakes, okay? We can get to our destination. We will get there, I promise you. But do not speed and put everybody in danger on your way to get to your destination. You want to make sure you're taking the proper route, okay? Now, what happens is a lot of us, instead of just getting on the highway and going at a cruise control speed, we go inner city, we're stopping at lights, we're cutting people off, we're riding straight through stop signs, thinking that we're going somewhere faster, not knowing if we just use these 9 steps, this puts us on a financial highway to get to our destination quicker in time, more fuel efficient, and just with a lot more stress. So instead of thinking, you know what, let me do it my way, I'm going to take the local route and I'm going to go inner city. Instead, let's get on the highway and let's let cruise control do its thing.
That's good. That's really good.
Thank you.
All right. So for our last question, we have Dr. Kim here. And Dr. Kim is wondering, because they're having such a hard time saving 1 month worth of income, essentially their expenses are very high.
Okay.
What are some strategies that they could do to implement to make sure, to lower their expenses so they can get to that freedom fund faster?
So I think sometimes we need a little bit of realness given to us. And the realest way I can probably put this is that you have to cut somewhere. There's no magic formula I can give you to tell you, hey, this is how you save 1 month of income. Before we even get to these 9 steps, there's one principle that has to be understood if we want to succeed at getting on that financial highway. And that's number 1, we have to keep our expenses in line. What we like to say is you want to make sure you're saving more than you're spending. And from what you're saving, you want to invest more than you're actually putting into the bank. Does that make sense? So if we're using that as our way of thinking, it's going to change the way we go about certain purchases. So now it's a little bit harder once you've committed to a certain type of lifestyle. You've committed to, let's say, private school, a more expensive car, a more expensive house. And I'm hoping you're hearing this as you're going down your journey of doctoring before you take on a lot of those expenses.
Yeah.
Now, if you have already taken those on, then you need to contact us personally because we need to work through a different set of challenges to be able to take you back a few steps out of some of those financial commitments so you can actually redirect those funds into where it needs to be. But let's hope that before you sign up for that new car lease, before you think about doubling the size of your house, before you think about going on that vacation or purchasing that next bag, you can do everything that you want. You just can't do it at the same time. And again, for a lot of us doctors out there, you tend to be the most successful person in your friend group. One of the most successful people in your family. You're probably more well off than most people would ever dream of. And people wish that they were in your financial position, but they don't understand the financial burdens that you have to go through on a day-to-day basis just to maintain. Because when you're a doctor, people expect you to drive a nicer car, to go on nicer vacations, to stay, you can't fly, coach. You need to be first class. See, listen, don't let anybody financially guilt shame you.
No keeping up with the Joneses.
No, don't become the Joneses, okay? We don't have to compete with anybody else. You yourself are a healer. When you are a healer, people look to you for help. So it's important that you keep perspective on what makes you special. And don't just have that mindset when your white coat is on. When you take your white coat off and you get to your personal life, it's important that you remember, even when it comes to my finances, I am special. There is something that people trust within me that makes me a doctor. When it comes to my finances, I am special. I need to handle these finances with the same kind of meticulous care that I handle my patients with.
Mm-hmm.
And for our doc who's having a hard time saving up that 1 month's of income, what I would tell you out there is, listen, take a step back, slow down, figure out where is all your money going. This is a really good time to implement a budget.
Mm-hmm.
So you can really take a quick accounting on where is everything going. You need to know what's coming in and what's going out. Like I've always said, the funner part is figure out how much is coming in.
Mm-hmm.
You will hold your boss accountable. This is how much my production was. This is what my pay should be.
Yeah.
This is how much I deserve based on the work that I put in. But when it comes to our expenses, we have no sense of demand at all. It's like, you know what?
Because who are you going to demand from?
There you go. You want to try to figure out, hey, you know what? As long as I have enough, we're okay.
Mm-hmm.
We have to get rid of that mindset and understand we have to be saving more. We have to cut our expenses, because with that margin, that difference between how much you're making and how much you're spending, that difference is where wealth is built.
Mm.
So the more you're able to cut down expenses and increase your income gives you a quicker and more efficient fuel to put into your vehicle to get to your destination. And if you leave with nothing here today, you want to have a good understanding of how much are your expenses? How much is your income? And how can I make those two numbers as far from one another as possible?
Mm-hmm.
And how can I use that gap between the two to fuel income creation and reach our dreams?
All right, that sounds good. So no keeping up with the Joneses, no imposter syndrome, and no survivor's remorse, because all of those can have an effect on how much you actually spend in your day-to-day life. And so for Dr. Kim, it was a matter of, if he is bringing in $200,000 and he has $195,000 going out, that's $5,000 that
It's not enough.
he has to save. But even I heard it more recently that you need $2.1 million in savings or like retirement or anything to actually retire.
That's just a baseline number, not counting to how much doctors actually spend, but 2.1 as a nice first goal for people to shoot for by the time they hit.
Right.
Absolutely.
That's like the average income, like W-2. That would be a long ways off if he's spending that much and not saving that much. I think that was a jam-packed Q&A, I must say.
Absolutely. As we bring it to a close, one thing I want to continue to implore episode is that, number one, our patients need us to be financially free.
Yeah.
Your patients, believe it or not, need you to become rich.
Why is that?
They need you to be able to take away any type of financial influence when it comes to the care that they receive. Because when your integrity is not tied to the paycheck that you get, but it's tied to you intrinsically, what was a smaller procedure doesn't become a larger procedure because I need to make a boat payment.
Yeah.
Or because a kid needs to go on a vacation with their school. Instead, when you present a treatment plan to your patients, you're going to be giving them the best care possible without any type of outside influence. That's why I like to say it, and I'm going to continue to repeat it. Your patients need you to be financially free. In that way, they can trust that what you are telling them and the care that you are giving them is to the best of your clinical ability.
Yeah. They joke about it in TV shows, but it happens in real life.
Absolutely. This is a fun episode, Q&A episode on step number 2 of the Doctor's Blueprint to Financial Freedom. And this one's focused on saving 1 month of income. We look forward to seeing you on the next episode of the Generational Dr. Wealth Show, a personal finance show for doctors. See you soon.
Peace.
Peace.
This show is for educational and entertainment purposes only and is not intended to be financial, legal, or medical advice. We are not acting as your personal financial advisors. The strategies discussed are general in nature and may not be appropriate for your individual situations. You should always consult your own qualified financial, tax, and legal professionals before making decisions about your money. The host and guests are not responsible for any actions you take based on the information shared on this show.